What up? Big Herc916, positivity, motivation. I was just sitting back thinking about racism and hate and how it exists in today's society. How does it come about into a person's heart? And why do we have such hatred for other people for no reason other than the color of their skin? And I remember having a conversation with my grandfather. And my grandfather, he grew up in the South. And he told me that as soon as he was old enough to get out of there, he moved and went into the military so that he could make a better life for himself. But before he was able to move through the military, he said that he worked a day in the cotton fields. And he said that day in the cotton field, when he picked that cotton, and it was laborious. It was laborious. It was hard work. It was not something that he enjoyed. But when he took that basket of cotton and he seen what they paid him for the day's work, he's like, nah, this ain't for me. He said, this is not my future. And he went and joined the military. And that advice was also told to him by his grandmother, who was raising him, that the military would be his best opportunity to get him out of the area, to explore the world, and to keep him out of trouble. He wasn't as studious as I was when it came to school, so that was a great option for him. So he went into the military. He said going into the military saved his life. He probably would have got into trouble there in Georgia where he lived. And he actually said at one point he would never move back to the South because of the racial climate there. He never got into details. He never said anything hateful as far as towards white people or anything like that. He just said that it wasn't a great place to live back then. And so he ended up settling in California with his 5 children and wife. Now, growing up, I never had any really in-depth conversations with him about racism, and he never told me, to watch out for this or that, or opportunities were going to be harder if I went into certain situations because I was black. He just told me to always apply myself, to stay in school, and he really pushed education on me. He really pushed good grades and school. But he didn't really talk to me and break things down. He didn't have the one-on-ones, and I guess he didn't know how to because he never had a dad telling him anything one-on-one. Therefore, it was foreign to him. I probably had more one-on-ones with my grandmother more than anything else. My grandma used to sit down and have these philosophical discussions with me as a child, and it instilled in me certain behaviors, certain qualities, things that I still carry to this day, certain moral values. She always told me you don't ever hate anybody. You might not like someone, but you don't hate. It's not nice. She said you treat people with kindness and good things will come back. She had a really good heart. You know, she just really expressed a lot of humanitarian values, morals, things that I still reflect back on. And nobody in the house ever said anything about being black or what it's like growing up black. They might have said, like, you don't go over here, watch out when you're over there, carry yourself a certain way, but there was never that distinct racial separation as far as discussions. So my first run-in with racism was when I was in first grade and I moved to Texas, and I got jumped by some little white kids in elementary school calling me the N-word. And another black kid helped me and told me that, you know, you got to watch out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wow, you know, this is new to me. In Sacramento, wasn't none of that. I had a multicultural class, and up north in Northern California, if you ask anybody, we function a lot different up there. Mexican, Filipino, Hawaiian, white, Asian, we all get down. It's a different landscape. But anyways, that was my first run-in. That's when I was made aware of the difference in my skin color. First grade, Galveston, Texas. Flip side of that, one of my best friends was a little white kid. No shoes, mom was a waitress, mom's boyfriend drove trucks, and we used to hang out like brothers. We used to run around, play NASCAR, and you know, I never thought about it again. It wasn't like it was every day, you know, racism. So it's really interesting to me because you don't grow up with that as a child. You're pure. It's a lot to do with the parenting. Parents don't want to be held responsible, but they're the reason why the racism perpetuates. I was not born with hatred or racism in my heart, and because somebody else is that way doesn't mean that I have to reciprocate that. Rather, what I project is a sense of understanding and a sense of why and how can we get past that. I would never want to tell a child that he could never be an engineer or a scientist or an astronaut or an architect because he was black. I'm just going to tell him to get in there and spend an extra 2-3 hours in those books. The people who are racist and have hatred in their heart, if you want to continue to be that way, then that's on you, man. That means you're just an ignorant fool. That means you're not somebody who's got love in their heart. And whatever situation, you can't have one person define a whole color scheme of people. I've seen pieces of shit that come in all races. It's not limited to one. And I've seen hatred in multiple races for no other reason but because of ignorance. And because that's what's been taught and ingrained in them. Certain things you can unteach. Some things people don't want to be untaught because they're comfortable. And that change is scary for them. And if they have to change, that means they might have to actually be intelligent. So that's my take on it, man. And I'm I don't know. I had never found it rewarding to just look at somebody and dislike them because of their skin color. Now, what comes out their mouth, that's another thing. You're not born a racist. You're not born to hate. You're taught. And the people who are teaching that, they need to be kicked all the way up in their culo, all the way up in their ass, and whooped. Man, whooping won't even probably help them though. So just avoid those people, man. Avoid those people, man. Don't let those people get close to you. Don't listen to what they had to say. They're ignorant. I've had so many blessings from people from so many different nationalities and cultures, and my journey's been so beautiful. I share my journey with all of you. Don't have hate in your heart, man. Don't be a racist if you can help it. We all have blessings that we can share with each other, and you can learn so much from just watching the innocence of young children, and just be conscious of what they're putting out here on social media, racism, and what they're trying to poison our kids with. It's a lot of stuff. These kids aren't born a particular way. A lot of them are being indoctrinated, and it goes across the board, man. So just keep your eyes open, man. Big Herc916. Don't forget to stop by the Big Herc916 store and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that Big Herc916 has authored. You know how we do it.
Hello, I'm Big Herc916. Contact me for life coaching and motivational speaking.